Here we've got our lesson 11, unit rates and constant of proportionality with fractions. What you will need for this lesson is a calculator and something to write with, because there are going to be some things with the calculator that we're going to talk about, some of which you may already know how to do. Excuse me. So basically, I'm going to go through the notes, and you're just going to copy them down as if I was standing right in front of you teaching it to you. So the objective, changing something up, I actually put the objective in so we don't have to worry about writing it. It says, I can find and compare unit rates with fractions in them using the calculator. Okay, so you're not going to have to do any of this math by hand because the calculator is there for you. So I've got 3 examples I'm going to model for you, and they get a little bit tougher as we go. And then there's a checkpoint on the next page. So, all right, so starting off with example number 1, what does unit rates look like when they have fractions in them? So, how many batches of cookies can she make in 1 hour? So this is reading for the gist, but we'll talk about reading at the very end. So we want cookies over hours. Okay. So it's just like we've been doing right along, except the only difference is now we're going to have fractions. Mary made 1/5 of a batch of cookies in 1/10 of an hour. So we're going to put 1/5 on top, and we're going to put 1/10 on the bottom. They actually call this a complex fraction because you've got fractions within fractions. Right? Okay, so now all we need to do is just divide. The ABC button is going to be the button that you're going to use to do these fractions. So you can see here. So we're going to do 1/5. So it's 1 ABC 5, and you should be doing this as I'm doing it so you can practice this. Divided by 1 ABC 10. It equals, and we get 2. So it'll be 2 cookies per hour. Or 2 batches of cookies, I should say. All right, so example number 1 is out of the way, and keep some things in mind. If you need to pause this and rewatch it, by all means, go right ahead. All right, example 2. Who is faster? So remember earlier in the year we did some problems where we had to figure out what was better. What was the better buy? Who ran faster? What was the better mileage? Okay, so based on their last run, which girl is correct? Each girl thought she was the faster runner. So notice I'm going to the end because I want to get an idea of what I'm trying to figure out. Each girl thought she was the faster runner. Which girl is correct? So we've got 2 girls. So I'm going to split this up into 2. We've got Izzy, who ran 2 1/4 miles in 0.25 hours, and Julia, who ran 3 3/4 miles in 0.4 hours. Okay, so the question becomes miles over hours or hours over miles. Because it doesn't tell you. The one above said cookies per hour. Well, I will tell you that time always goes on the bottom. So we've got Izzy. That's how I make my Z's. I put slashes in them because they look like my 2's. She goes 2 1/4 miles in 0.25 hours. Okay, so calculator. Now, how we do a mixed number is that ABC button again, but we got to hit it twice to go 2, ABC 1, ABC 4. And if you hit enter, you'll see it makes it 2 1/4. Divided by 0.25, and we get 9. So this is 9 miles per hour. Okay. All right, so now we got Julia. Julia goes 3 3/4 miles. Remember, we're still doing miles over hours. So she runs 3 3/4 miles in 0.4 hours. So on the calculator, 3, ABC 3, ABC 4. That gives you 3 3/4 divided by 0.4, and we get 9.375, or 9.4, because remember we have talked about rounding to the nearest 10th, and the 7 would make the 3 become a 4. All right, so now the question is, who's faster? Okay, so think of a treadmill. Have you ever been on a treadmill? On a treadmill, what's faster, 9 or 9.4? Okay, hopefully you're thinking the 9.4. So Julia is correct because she is faster. The 9.4 is faster than the 9 point nothing. All right. Okay, so that leaves us with one more example. Okay, so we're off of this one. Now we're on to this one. All right, up here, example 3. Unit rates with different units of measure. Okay? Unit rate, miles per hour. Miles over hours. Okay. But here's the issue. A turtle walks 7/8 of a mile in 50 minutes. All right, so here's what most of you are going to do. 7/8 will go on top, 50 will go on the bottom. However, here's the issue we're running into. This is minutes, this is hours. So we're going to set up a proportion. Anytime we see these problems where there are two different units of measure, or measure like time, minutes and hours, I'm going to set this up. And we do want hours on the bottom. But really what we got now is we got minutes on the bottom. So I'm going to put 60 here. Okay? The reason I'm putting 60 there is because 60 minutes equals 1 hour, which when we're finding unit rate, we want to find per 1. Okay? And we'll put an X here. And we're going to cross multiply this just like we've been doing right along. Okay, just now we have a fraction involved. So it's going to look like this. Clear? We're going to do 7, ABC, 8. And this is live television, folks. The announcements come on in the middle of me recording a lesson video. All right, so back we're doing 7/8 times 60. So we get 52 1/2. And then we divide it by the 50. So you can just hit divided by 50. And we get 1. And this is 1 and 1/20. All right. So those are the 3 examples that we modeled. I would recommend maybe watching. This one's going to be the tough one for you all. At least at first. I got 3 checkpoints. So these are the ones that you're going to do and check in with myself or Mr. Huff. All right. And then afterwards, we'll have the practice. All right. So for the recorded lesson for today, this is Mr. Sims signing off.